Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sean interrupted my intro, but that's okay. This is the Quad Mid Podcast, but today we are bringing five. My name is Mad Jack. Today I have alongside with me, as always, Wild Cucumber, or Tad, Bailey, BK Wappa, and the first guest to ever return, making a two-time appearance on the cast, SK Resist. Sean, how you doing today?
What's up?
I'd like to say the intro was never good anyways.
Because we are sending all five mid people today, we have our boy Thirsty, otherwise known as Kirdare. He's the man of many gamer tags, the Krabby Patty. I blow for crack before that got banned. So he's the rotating name, but we're just gonna call him Kirdare for the purpose of this cast. Carter, how you doing today?
Hello. I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right, good to hear. We talked last time we were on. We talked about casting more, and as you can tell by the date of this upload, that didn't fucking happen at all. So everybody, let's give ourselves a round of applause for being at a great upload schedule. I'm proud of each and every one of you. I think we maybe tried once to cast, and that worked really well, almost as well as tonight. Tonight didn't happen, but through the power of memes, dreams, and all the in-betweens, we are here, and this is episode 7. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited for 8, because 8's going to be great. But before...
Shut up, Scott.
Wow,
dude. You're gonna shut down the host like that.
Redo.
But on a remake, it's before 3 minutes, so we could. But on a real note, I have moved up to the cities, and that's been an interesting time for me. I know Bailey's moved in between home and his college home, and so that's been a hard recording situation for him. Sean,
It's been fantastic.
Sean, we really don't know what goes on with Sean. It's really a myth. It's something.
The best way to describe Sean is he is the wind, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Tad's been, well, I mean, you've been kind of busy. Tad, tell us what you've been up to.
My family does the farmers market, and so we have a bunch of
You got some watermelon, some peaches.
Yep.
No, just corn.
Just corn. Mainly corn, but not just corn. And so that's eating up a lot of my free time. But
dude, we should change the name of this cast to the Not Just Corn cast. Am I right?
The not just corn. Yeah.
Not just corn at our cast.
Yeah.
More than just corn, you know?
Maybe some apples.
But
we have other
slob
things.
on my knob.
And Carter, he's never been on the cast, so his schedule matters absolutely zero. So
Yeah, I'll be here all day.
Moving into the first topic, and this is a game that we've all been playing for a while, and that's PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
League of Legends?
League of Legends, man. Yep, this is what this cast is about. We will be talking about League here on out for the whole class, and I'm glad you brought that up so I can get this joke out of the way early. Remind everybody, we missed it the last cast, so we're going to get in a lot. Bailey does use camera lock. And
yes.
Yep.
I do.
I
do too. It's true.
Do not forget about that. No, Sean, that's all right. It's perfectly fine to use camera lock.
I'm a hybrid user.
Yeah,
Bailey's
that's okay.
just straight lock.
Yeah, but Bailey, absolutely, you need to reform, man. You are holding yourself back as well as anybody who plays with you. I recommend you change it immediately. But speaking of things that Bailey has not been playing, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has taken off, and everybody in our friend group, except Bailey, has been playing the shit out of this game, and everybody on the internet seems to be playing the shit out of this game. It's getting a lot of attention, and it's funny because it seems like every game we talk about seems to die, except League of Legends. But Tad would argue that it's been dead for a while. But we talked about we talked about H1Z1, and next thing you know, PlayerUnknown drops his fucking Battlegrounds game, and it seems like H1's gone to die. But I might have something to say about that. I don't know. I know Sean. All right, Sean. I'm gonna let you have the floor right away because I know we've gone back and forth. The floor is yours, man. Everybody's cleared. You're standing in the middle. The lights are on. SK Resist. Let's hear what he has to say.
PUBG is much, much better than the H1 of Z1.
And there it is.
That's where I end my rant.
I do think that'll be that is interesting though, because if you think about it, the game is, I guess the style of game is essentially the same, but yet everyone seems to have swapped from H1 to Players Unknown, and I think that people who hadn't even heard of H1 are playing Players Unknown.
I will admit, I was an early adapter to Battlegrounds. I was one of the first people in the friend group to get it right after Tad. I was not sold on the game right away.
You're welcome.
I was not sold on the game right away. It was kind of a shitty experience, to be honest. In its defense, it is a pre-alpha. But that being said, it was really buggy. I had a hard time running the game. I have a 1060, 6700K i7 processor, so I don't think it's my hardware that's having a hard time with the game. But I just felt on launch, which
I didn't have troubles.
Yeah, on launch, the game just ran really inconsistent, and I know browsing across forums and Reddit, a lot of people are having the same issues. So, however, since then, they have really shored up PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and it's been a great experience. I haven't gone back and played H1, not for lack of desire to play the game, but simply everybody has been playing Battlegrounds. Well, however, I think H1 really could. We'll see how these two games turn out. I think Battlegrounds definitely has the floor here, and H1Z1 is going to have to do a lot to bring itself back into the spotlight. But I think any competition between games is good, and it just serves to improve. Speaking from somebody who's only played H1Z1, I don't know, Bailey, in your experience, did you feel like what improvements do you feel like could be made on the H1Z1 platform, and then maybe we can transition into how those...
The UI and polish for one thing. PlayerUnknown looks a lot better. Like, this is from my opinion on the outside of not even having played the game, just seeing trailers and whatnot. The game for PUBG looks a lot more polished. I think textures look better and whatnot. I like that the map. I think the map looks a little better too. I like the fact that it's on an island and not just in the middle of this country where gas is closing in.
Got new maps on the
Which brings me back to why
floorboard.
it's kind of BS that H1Z1 split the game up into two. That's just a bad move on the developer's part. It's kind of a slap in the consumer's face, but whatever.
Yeah.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds really started off as, its own game, saying this is what the game is focused on, and I feel like that's better for one thing. Whereas H1Z1 kind of had that almost kind of like another zombie survival game that had this really cool game mode in it that they then decided to try to capitalize on and split into two. And that history is a little sketchy with me from them. But as far as when you guys all played H1Z1 and I played along with you guys, I still really like the game. So if PlayerUnknown can do it better, then fantastic.
Yeah, the nice thing about H1, I think the gunfighting and hit scan was inconsistent, it also made for almost a more skirmishy style feel, and it added, I don't know if skill is the right word, but just an extra element of maybe experience added to the gunfights where you weren't getting one-popped across the map because simply the way the mechanics worked in the game was almost impossible to one-pop somebody across the map versus in Battlegrounds it's something where if you're out in the open you're just going to get domed. Now, all realism aside, as far as the gameplay mechanic, in a game where you spend a majority of the opening part of the game just looting and collecting and you only have one life, the idea of getting one shot immediately with from the guy that across the map that you have no chance of seeing is something that really turned me off from the game right away. And of course, if you're walking in the open or you're making yourself vulnerable to shooting, that's a strategic element that is besides the point. But I think just the fact in general that you can get one shot in it, is not a very fun and interactive gameplay element for me. That being said,
I think that's got more to do with weapon selection than it does the actual game itself. You don't have as many snipers in H1. I mean, well, you have the one, right? But you got 4 in Battlegrounds. It's a slight difference there.
That is true. Also, H1, of course, having the option where the aim down sight function is practically useless outside of long range and close quarters. And
Yeah, that's something I didn't really like about H1 is the whole.
I've confirmed that they're adding first-person servers to Battlegrounds now. First person
Yeah.
only. Sorry.
Huh.
I haven't
Yep.
really kept up on what's going on with H1, but I know within the month's release of Battlegrounds, they put out a really big patch, and they added a lot of features that people have been asking for forever. That's including spectating, to name one thing. They refreshed their HUD, and so it looked a lot better. And the game was running at the time of this patch, which is about a month ago, immensely more smooth than Battlegrounds. However, the development team over at Battlegrounds has definitely upped their game, and they put a lot of effort in the server improvements, which is what H1Z1 has been saying is their focus for the last, what seems like, year. And Battlegrounds is improving their server function, all the while adding tons of new features, it seems like, every month. And I don't know, for me, H1Z1, the name, it's based off the virus, but the Z1 obviously is hinting toward the zombie element. And when they removed it from the game, when they removed zombies from the battle royale portion of the game, it just really didn't make sense, because you've got a game that literally has zombies in the name, but there's no zombies to be found. And
Again, that was a really weird move on the development part.
I think that was in the survival mode, because I think H1Z1's original plan was to just kind of capitalize on the survival, crafting,
yeah.
open world
but I believe
kind of game. And then they tacked on this battle royale mode, and then people were like, "Oh shit, this is kind of fun," and so they really started to play it. And I don't think anyone really expected it to be received the way it was. And it pioneer, or I don't want to say pioneer, but brought this like battle royale shooter into light more.
And correct me if
To
I'm
the point
wrong,
where
but
no one-
I believe the earliest iteration of Battle Royale in H1Z1 still included all the AI, where zombies and grizzly bears and all that not. And then it was they swiftly phased it out for performance reasons, and then they just decided to separate the games. If I'm remembering this correctly.
With absolute certainty, but I'm pretty sure that's how it.
It's been a long
Yes,
time.
I'm
H1Z1 is an old game, and it's it's disappointing to see, because I mean, we were talking about it with such excitement not that long ago. Like, we were talking about the features we want to see in the game. Like, I know I mentioned having an airplane drop in, and a month later Battlegrounds comes in. They stole my idea, so I should probably be getting some compensation for that. If you're player unknown, if you're looking to avoid lawsuits, go ahead and head over to our Patreon that doesn't exist, but it could by the end of this episode. So look out for that.
See, for me, the top quality in Battlegrounds is the more toxic community. I find that a lot more attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have a fetish for it.
That used to exist in H1Z1. Like, that was the original pre-game lobby chat spam, and then they turned it off. I can remember back in the day playing with Tad. We got in the game with Summit 1G, and everybody was screaming, "Summit's in the pit!" Because they had that pit in H1Z1 where all the cars were flipping, and the kids were just screaming. That was the original racist cesspool of Battle Royale game mode. Then they got rid of it because it was a racist cesspool. And then
honestly, I think that's what killed it for me, is when I couldn't talk in the pre-game lobby anymore.
Yeah,
man, that just makes the game.
It really does. Like,
doing, you know.
Like, you just gotta know. You gotta show your dominance.
Sometimes you just need that Wild West game chat, and that's what sets that. I mean, that's
Exactly.
what it's a defining feature, and social values be damned. Sometimes, you know, removing that. I don't know. Honestly, I tune out the pregame chat now, but since it was removed, I mean, that's where my old Steam tag came from, Cloud 911. Yeah, like, I did not do 9/11 at the beginning of every single H1Z1 match and having a bunch of kids. This was when Jet Fuel and Steel Memes And
Where the real memes.
steal memes.
Memes, wow.
Real memes. Oh no.
Just you can't
Hey,
milk
mate.
steal memes. That's how old
But,
H1 is,
just-
though.
It just from everything from yelling "Someone's in the pit" to China #1 to it was wonderful.
It was a great
in my opinion, it
experience.
was the best part of the game.
And now it's just the game has gone out of relevance, and I think
Exactly.
I hope that the game can make a recovery just simply because I put so many hours into it, and it does hold a special place in my heart as being the game that introduced me to the Battle Royale genre. I don't think it will ever get back to its former glory, and
I don't think it will either.
it's hopefully
Games.
hopefully it serves as a learning experience for other developers where your game goes when you focus more on putting downloadable microtransactions in the game and focusing on cosmetics and making short-term gains versus actually making a quality product that runs well and has a lot of cool features that we see in Battlegrounds.
I suppose the other thing to that is, don't you think H1 probably made more money than the developers ever hoped to make?
Oh,
And so,
well, definitely the battle royale aspect of it. Like I think H1Z1, the survival, they were going off of that hype train. Like ever since
Yeah.
Minecraft, I feel like pioneered it. But go ahead, Bailey.
I
Oh,
think
Arma
they.
start.
It was
Arma
a very.
started that.
They feel super cash grabby. Like I sound like I'm just beating down the devs here, but the whole like, well, let's hop on the survival bandwagon, and then that didn't work for them. So mid like have it mid in the middle of H1Z1, they just pivot and they're like, well, let's split it into you can have the standalone survival or you can have the standalone battle royale, like, you know. And I don't know, it's just kind of like BS, and it's like, come on, guys. I don't know.
And at the end
That's-
of
no, I agree.
when Battlegrounds came out, H1Z1 was doing great, and it was still a really fun game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then, Battlegrounds seemingly came out of nowhere and just kind of stole the show.
And it'll be interesting to see where the game goes. I know the developers have got a lot of stuff planned, and hopefully they set the standard high for games in pre-alpha, because I know we talked about how there'd been a lot of failures recently with games such as DayZ, which is apparently made a resurgence, but we already said it was dead on the podcast, so we're going to stand by our word, hashtag DayZ dead game 2017. But
Agreed.
hopefully this sets the standard high. We're seeing a lot of quality early access games, squad, player-known battlegrounds. Hopefully, we don't see a lot of low quality coming out of pre-alpha, and games learn that they actually need to get the full release, because H1Z1, at the time of recorded our last episode, I was confident that it would make it to a full game, but obviously now with the money leaving and the player base shifting to the newer, flashier, and objectively speaking, better game, it feels like this game is pretty much gone down the hill, and they really missed an opportunity. And you have to wonder that if this Battlegrounds going to be one of those games that, it's picked up all the hype, it's going to be one of those games like similar to H1. It's just got a player base and then it's kind of a fade, or is it going to be one of those staples that manages to stick around for years to come, like League of Legends or Overwatch is still a short term, but I think we can all agree it's not going anywhere. Is it going to be one of those games that is a staple, or is it going to be simply another passing trend, you know?
I do guess it makes you wonder what caused or what happened to have PlayerUnknown just come and sweep the show so quickly.
Well, it was kind of
like, what made
kind of be
people-
upset with the devs after they didn't
yeah.
split on that.
The creator of the
All
game
right.
mode, obviously, this is something that every single person who makes a video or a podcast about this will talk about how the former dev who invented the Battle Royale game mode made PlayerUnknown Battleground. But
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
I do think too. I think PlayerUnknown's just has a much more solid solo experience too. Like H1 was great. Did any of us ever play that by ourselves?
I did a little
No.
bit, but it wasn't as enjoyable for sure.
Exactly. Because I mean, I suppose Sean has played definitely the most player unknowns out of all of us, but even I have logged in a couple by myself games and have had a great time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing with Pub was that they decided right off the bat that they're not going cosmetics until the game is in full release, and they've stuck to that word. So I think that's pretty impressive so far. It's certainly not just a cash grab, or at least it wasn't
really
on the initial
easy for a
release.
developer to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we see EA going into the mobile market, doing that kind of stuff, and just transaction. That's where the trend is going. So it would be easy for a company to say, "Hey, let's put this in early access and then release DLC." It's like, stop.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, Carter. We haven't really gone over to you, but you're somebody who you don't play a lot of other games outside of League, and
Nope.
we told you buy H1Z1, and then we told you play Battlegrounds, and you were hesitant because you didn't feel like you got a lot of.
told me to play that zombie chasing monkey game. I don't know what it's called.
Dead by
What?
Daylight.
Yeah, that one.
Zombie?
Oh,
Zombie chasing monkey
Yeah,
game.
Zombie chasing monkey.
I mean, you're like in a cage and you're running around like
Go
monkeys
on.
trying to turn electricity on, and I mean, it's
Hey,
fun.
I
It
like
was fun,
that
and it
game.
scared the fuck out of me, but it was fun. But
Yeah.
I just don't quite like it like that.
Yeah, but
Anyways, what was your real question?
my real question was, how do you feel about Battlegrounds? Because I know you got H1Z1, and we played it with you maybe like less than a dozen games total. Versus H1Z1 versus Battlegrounds.
It sort of makes me feel at home. It makes me feel like I'm part of something, like kind of like League of Legends. Like the toxic community just really relates to me, and I don't know. I think it's good. I like the game. I mean, I'm glad that's probably the first game you guys have told me to download that I've actually enjoyed. But other than that,
Oh.
it pisses me off.
Other than that, he says all great things, ends on the it pisses me
I
off.
mean, it's toxic. I mean, like you said, the one shot and you're fucked and you're domed, and it's just game over. I mean, you sit in one house for 20 minutes, and then suddenly you step outside, just one breath of fresh air, and you're domed.
And that's one thing that I don't think I like about the game, and I still enjoy about H1Z1. But there's just so many factors going for it. Honestly, the biggest factor for me is player base and what are my friends playing. Like H1Z1 still might be a more enjoyable experience for me because simply I got good at the shooting mechanic, and well, it was hard for a lot of people. I put in hours in it, so I was pretty good at it. It doesn't, but the fact that my friends are playing Battlegrounds is like I don't give a damn. If H1Z1's better, I'm gonna play what the squad is playing.
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of the OG of toxic community, the OG of I fucked your mom kind of talk, RuneScape.
Caleb?
RuneScape was like hands down the
Oh.
biggest shit talking fest there was.
It definitely was. And speaking of shit talk, Carter's trying to steal my job. It is my job to steer.
Hey, I thought I'd just help you on this one.
Well,
I just been all I've been thinking about is how are we gonna merge this to that, and my toxic community.
He saw his
is
window
like,
and he left
dude,
through it.
all I can think about is toxic
You're getting shown up
communities.
right now.
Yeah.
honestly, guys, it's been a good 6 episodes, but I would like to announce my departure from the cast. Carter will be taking my place as the host, and it's been great. It's been great, honestly, and I'm a little sad to leave, but I gotta do what's best for the cast. So without any further ado, I'm gonna throw it over to my boy Thirsty. Carter, go ahead and take it away, man.
I feel like if I was the host of this, I'd be the Tyler One of podcasts.
God.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't picking up, so those of you who aren't in our friend group, which is honestly most of our viewer base, but Carter recently received a 2-week ban for using an unspecified
Yeah.
slur against an employee of Riot Games.
That's,
I didn't know.
I like the
And justice was served.
So So every toxic joke that Carter's made, and you guys are saying, "What? I don't get it." Well, the reason we're laughing is because Carter has been banned, and he's reforming slowly. But
Yes, I no longer swear.
in chat,
He's a
in
good
chat.
Christian boy. He goes to
I've
church
gone to
every
church.
Sunday.
Yeah, I've gone to church on Wednesdays, Saturdays,
He prayed.
Sundays.
Every day.
Yeah,
Every day of the whole
I
week.
put a chastity belt on.
Proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
And most
Excellent,
importantly, he reads the Summoner's Code every night before going to bed.
Yeah. He recites it. Can you recite it now for us, Carter?
Be friendly. Love thy neighbors as yourself. Fuck, I don't know.
Very good, very good. That's
Very
what we've been
good.
waiting for.
Excellent.
Excellent
Yeah.
point.
That's what we've been waiting
And that
for.
is a great transition into our next excellent point. RuneScape has recently announced that they will be releasing a mobile application of their old school game set to release in winter 2017. Tab dropped the news early this morning while I was at work, and I gotta say, where has this been forever? Because I feel like this is a great transition. I mean, RuneScape, it's not pulling the greatest graphical requirements of PCs, and phones have probably... When the game came out, the phones are probably more powerful than the computers that were running it back in the day. So it makes sense. I don't know. How do you guys feel about RuneScape on a phone?
I think it'd be a really good.
Why? I feel like.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You got it. Don't worry about it. No.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Where is yours?
Guys,
I was gonna say, I feel like I normally shit on mobile markets and games because I feel like that's where gaming is going, and I hate it because there's an old World of Warcraft player in me that feels like only real gamers spend 40 hours a week grinding dungeons and stupid shit like that. But I must admit, I am like, it looks like it'd be one of those things that I would go back to unlimited data just so I could play RuneScape. Just anywhere I wanted.
Part of that, but now you're like a Mimi big boy and you have a big boy job and stuff, and so now on your break or something, you're like, shit, I need to get the wood cutting done or something, or
Exactly.
I want to walk to Camelot. Then you just do that. You're there. Then when you get home, you're ready to start chopping or start Castle Wars. Oh, that was the shit.
Oh yeah.
I guess the other thing is, do you think it'll be your account or will it have its own special server? Will there be mobile worlds?
I bet it'll be like what is that new Wii thing that just came out? Where you could take it
Switch?
to go. Yeah, the Switch, that thing.
Oh, the Switch?
I think it's gonna be like that. So you can play on the computer, but then you can switch to your phone. And it's gonna be the same account.
I imagine it'll be pretty seamless. It's not like hardware wise, it's not doable. I definitely think PvP would be a bit tricky to pull off, at least in members world. Maybe free to play wouldn't be that difficult, but it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely the first mobile game that I think really has good applications. I mean, we all know how bad Hearthstone is and how that really doesn't work in a mobile format at all.
Oh my god.
But
You had to do it. You had to go there. I'm done. I'm retiring from podcast, boys. See you later.
This has been a great cast. We have lost 2 casters. First me, and now Tad. It's been...
They're falling out. They're not getting knocked down like flies.
Bailey, you better check your back, man. They're coming for you next. All the vets are going down, man.
I'm already dead, dude.
I
opened my bottle and sprayed me in the face.
Welcome to the SEK Media Podcast.
The Sean Show, ladies and gentlemen. SK, take it away.
Welcome, folks.
Dirtbiker 997.
Oh, is that your new name, Carter? Sean, we're waiting for you to take it away anytime now.
What do you want from me?
Take him out now.
It's your show, man.
My RS
This show.
combo?
Yeah.
Storm soon.
I don't think we'll get it personally, but
Really?
I mean that's kind of
I
because
suppose, did they announce, is it going to be paid or not?
it's not even that. I just don't really tend to play mobile games too often. I really don't. I'm not a fan of it. mainly because of the mobile data, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The only like mobile game I play is Hearthstone, and like even then, it's like that's not my
like,
primary
yeah.
way of playing.
Even then, it's just like a bad
It's just-
game. So you know.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's just like, yeah, I'll be on my lunch break or something, and I'll pop in a game of Hearthstone, because what else am I gonna do?
I don't know.
Play a real game.
Yeah. Play Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
dude. We all
I'll
know
just
how
bring
great
my
that...
desktop. I'll just bring my desktop to work, take it into the break room. I only got half an hour, but I'm sure I could pull it off.
Just get like a fancy
Do it.
vest to like hold you, carry around on your back. Get like a car battery hooked up to it.
As long as I have a laptop, I could just bring that, but at the same point, it's...
If you want to
Yeah.
get the true PlayerUnknown's Battleground experience, you probably shouldn't be
Yeah.
screaming China #1 in public. you
That's
know?
what Oh my god, that's what H1 needs to come back, a mobile game.
did they,
That's
did they
how it-
explain how they're
If you're out,
If you're listening, devs.
RS Mobile?
So
Pardon me.
they haven't gone in a lot of depth. So they had been trending hashtag the announcement throughout the community for a while, and then they just dropped the announcement is we're making a mobile game, and it just dropped today, so it's pretty fresh. It dropped at the time of we're recording this. We're not sure when it'll be uploaded, but
Wait. So they said we dropped a mobile game, or did they say RuneScape is going mobile? Did they specify that it's
the
going to be?
announcement was RuneScape is going mobile.
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
So we don't have a lot of news about the integration itself. It's all speculation at this point. But it'll be interesting to see because it's a game that has really emerged since Jagex finally said we fucked up back in the day when we took away the wilderness, and they just pretty much reverted that change, and kept the good stuff like the Grand Exchange, and brought it back in its 2007 glory as old school RuneScape. And I know.
So is it going to be an old school RuneScape app on the phone, or is it
Yeah,
going to be new
Yeah,
RuneScape?
they'll have both.
they'll have both.
Oh, okay.
So, I know Carter and Sean have played a lot of old school RuneScape, and I've myself have put some time into it. But I know as far as the player base expansion, what do you guys think? Do you think it'll grow a lot? And if so, what impact do you think it'll have on the servers, adding a mobile game to the environment?
I think the people
I don't-
that are just trying to grow up are just going to become children again, and it's going to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like those fat nerds like me.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know if it'll
Slow
like
down like that.
become a huge sensation or whatever. I think that they'll get a lot of players back just for the what I can play RuneScape on my phone, and then they'll do it for a while, and then they'll just kind of move on, like the Pokemon Go thing. And it also depends on controls and how well it will operate on the phone.
It
But
definitely.
yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited to have RuneScape on my phone for at least a little bit.
And it definitely plays into the nostalgia factor too, because we saw Pokemon Go do insanely well for a game that didn't have much of a backbone, and they've updated it since, but it died because the developers weren't able to keep up with the hype.
Keep up.
Versus RuneScape is already a fully developed game, and it's a known commodity, and so it'll be interesting to see because the mobile market is something. Well, I mean, we talk about H1Z1 being a fad and PlayerUnknown and Battlegrounds being a fad. Like mobile games are like the king of fads as far as video games go. Like a game can be on the top of the charts one month and be completely dead the next. And so we'll see how RuneScape does. Hopefully, I hope the game can really capture it. But for a lot of people, it's the origin of when they started gaming. It was back in the day. It was the free-to-play game back in the day. I'm pretty sure all of us had an account. I know I played with Sean. I played with Carter a little bit. I don't think I ever played with Bailey. You were a couple of years younger than me back in the day.
I wasn't quite on the RuneScape train as much as everybody else was. I was more of a GameCube kid.
If we have time, I have the saddest RuneScape story ever.
Please talk
So-
about that. Runescape.
Actually,
My name is
just
Tad,
ran out of time.
but my full name is Thaddeus, and so I had the best idea of making an account named Thaddeus God, and I was playing this new game RuneScape, and I loved it. I showed it to my cousin Jake, who then asked if he could play on my account, and of course I'm like, yeah, dude, like if you want to level up my stats, of course I'm gonna let you do that. So I give him my account information. That would turn out to be the biggest mistake of my life.
You cheated.
I didn't cheat. He was my
You broke
cousin, and I
the
was letting him test
JX
out the
code
game.
of conduct.
He hacked my
You're not
account.
sup-
He had
He
okay.
changed my password. He changed my password, and I had to make a whole new character.
Oh,
And then
savage.
And then I,
Well,
it
you
was
know
the
what,
worst
Tad?
experience
You know
of
what,
my
Tad?
life.
You deserved it, you cheating
I
bastard.
didn't. I didn't.
It's karma, Ted. That's what you get, dude.
Sean, didn't you used to be a scammer?
Oh,
I
did.
used
Dude, oh, look how
I'm
quiet
sure
he
at
got.
some point I did.
Oh
Yeah, I'm sure.
man.
I'm pretty sure you
Call.
scammed your friends. I think you scammed me at one point.
My what?
I think you scammed me at one point.
No.
Yeah, I think. It was I think you
Like
scammed.
you.
Oh, I
You
will break.
scammed me Rune Essence.
This is the Quadmin Trials,
Like you.
pitting SK Resist versus Thirsty 13. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's let the plaintiff make their case. Carter?
I'm the one that got hacked. Let's be real.
Yeah, did you get hacked by frickin' Wieselman?
Sean, counter
Yeah,
sue
well.
him for everything he owns, dude.
Did you get hacked by? Did you get hacked by Wieselman?
I think so.
That's how I got hacked by too. Ports told me he was ghost typing that one program where you type in your password and so
Yeah,
when
Ghost-
it comes back,
Ghost Mouse or whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm like, shut the hell up! You gave it to him, and I mean, all I had was like 200K, but 200K at the time is like 50 mil in like real life.
Yeah, I lost like a whip and a lot of money.
Yeah, it was
So yeah, hard times.
Sounds
hard
like we
times.
have a lot of repressed memories.
like
that we're
now.
having.
If you wanted to buy RuneScape money or an account online, you know, you can get like 30 mil for like $20. I got 200.
Yeah, it's-
We don't condone that,
200. I paid
Yeah.
Ryan Hewer 200K or $20 for 200K, and
Back in the day.
yeah, I thought I was loaded.
I think it's important to announce that, or say that real world trading is against the rules.
Oh yeah,
We at Quadmeter
I'm
Feed-
totally against it now.
Yeah. We here at Quadmeter Feed do not endorse paying real world money for in-game currency. Now, we do endorse paying real world money for whatever you want from us, whether it's blowjobs from Bailey, handies from Tad. I don't know what Sean's gonna give you, but you know, neither does he.
How
And
about
you know,
autographs? They want autographs? Can I sell
Autographs. Yeah.
Why do I have to
Dude, he'll make you a montage. That's
Yeah,
it.
let's add
We'll make
you the
Sean's
sickest-
links to his montages back in Call of
There
Duty.
you go, jackpot.
there you go. You'll get an annotation with your name in.
They don't
In
have
uprising.
annotations anymore.
That's right. It's and title cards, but I
Yeah,
mean,
there you go.
And they can get from me a feel of toxic community.
there you go. You can have Carter talk bad. You can have Carter verbally abuse you just like your father did back in the day. And
Damn, that runs deep.
oh,
That
speaking.
runs
Yeah,
deep.
yeah,
It was
it
getting too
is
real for
deep.
me.
I'll tell you that it is deep.
Too real for you, Tad?
Getting too real for me.
We're getting real zany, real Wayne, and Rack isn't even here, folks.
Raggedy.
Oh boy.
I know. No one's here to keep it under control. You know.
It's unchained, untamed. This is Quadmeter Feed. Patent pending.
Late night.
Patent's going to be pending for quite a while because we can't afford it. Because again, we don't have any sponsors. And that leads me to our next point in the show. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Dollar Shave Club, or Gillette Fusion, or who else makes razors? Because we are willing to plug you right here for a simple fee of whatever you're willing to pay us. We'll take it. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us at business email, which doesn't exist.com. And
Now that we're done plugging our sponsors that don't exist, can we have more old RuneScape stories? Because I enjoy.
I
I've
personally
enjoyed
think,
hearing past scams. I guess one of my favorite memories. I'll kick it off here. I guess is playing with my friend Ethan and like guiding him through the Demon Slayer quest, but he still had dial up, and so he would just at random points say, "Hold on 1 second, the phone's ringing," and then go offline, and then come back online, and we just like it took because I knew how to do it, and this was like before you could just Google how to Demon Slayer. I suppose you probably could have, but we were too young to think of that. So like I figured it out, and I'm just like showing him, okay, we got to go here and we got to go here, and it's just taking forever because like every 3 minutes he's like, wait, hold on, the phone's ringing. It was just the most infuriating thing ever. And finally we get to the Demon Slayer, and then the Dark Wizards just keep killing him. And oh my goodness. We did it in the end. It took like 3 hours longer than it should have, but I've never cheered so loud.
Oh, I remember my jam back in the day was just making... I got pretty bored with the whole grind of the game and just like sitting there chopping at a tree for hours, so I love the PvP, and that's kind of carried over today where almost all the games I play are multiplayer only. But I would just make new accounts back in the day, and I would level it. I would just make like pure strength or pure mage, and until my account would get over leveled and runes would become too expensive where it wasn't efficient for me to just make money off of killing people. And then I would just make another account, and that's how I got my enjoyment from the game back in the day. I know Ryder and Cody and myself used to just do that back in the day on repeat. I probably have a good 24 accounts with fake emails just sitting there on the server if I could ever remember the password. But it's just interesting to see how so many people get different enjoyment of the game. I know, Tad, you've spoken on how you enjoy the game because it really separated. You didn't have to choose one class, versus I got enjoyment of choosing one class and just becoming a peer in that aspect. And it's,
No, I guess up until then, I played RuneScape before World of Warcraft, but I knew and so I knew like you had to pick the game and you had to pick a race and pick a class. I just thought it was really cool how I could throw on my armor and be that guy. And then I got bored of that, and I could put on some robes and stuff and be a wizard. And if I got bored with that, I equipped a bow and be a ranger. I guess that it felt much more like an RPG in that sense to me. And I don't know.
Well, RuneScape is kind of the ultimate RPG that had, the stat for wood cutting and the stat for cooking, and there was no limit to what you could do. There was just a limit you could do with.
Didn't you used to play private servers as well?
I'm just looking at my phone and watching this like new bra commercial thing, and Scott just looks over, boobs.
like this is the girl with their shirt off, and on Carter's phone, he's just sitting there. We're talking about fucking video games. Carter's just peeping this chick's
looking at boobs.
Peeping this chick's Insta.
Alright, what was said last? Someone said my name.
God, I thought you said these people were professionals.
Hey, he's performing. He's not there yet.
We're helping him along the way. Public service.
But I know I got enjoyment out of playing peers. Tad was more of a role player. Carter, Sean, what was so appealing for RuneScape for you back in the day?
Clan Wars.
That wasn't me. I mean, I kind of went through every phase. I feel like I did a lot of pretty much everything just to test it out. I think the most fun might have been a mix between questing and private servers. I think the private servers I like to do what you did, Scott, just because it wasn't as grindy. You could just go in, spend an hour, and get what you wanted, and then go PK afterwards. But questing was also fun just because of the variety of stuff you got to do.
I never got into PK. I got lured into the wilderness, not knowing what it was, and then lost like my full adamant or something, which at the time was a big deal to me.
Played RuneScape.
And then like I was just like, oh my god, the wilderness is the worst place ever. You know, fuck this, fuck my life. I hate everything right now. I lost everything. And
Yep.
so I never got into PK, and the only time I ever upgraded to members was one, when I figured out what Castle Wars was, and two, just because of quest and I wanted to do more.
Yeah, I don't know, Carter. I never really got to do Clan Wars, but because I never had the money to pay for a membership back in the day. But what was that experience like? Actually, I take that back. There was a free-to-play version of Clan Wars, right towards the end of when RuneScape died. They had, I think, I'm trying to think. It was north of Iraq, to the east of the Hill Giants a ways, but it really wasn't the same as the initial Clan Wars. If you want to speak on what that experience was like, Carter.
Well, it was like PvP, where you can basically, be on one of the two teams, and you can either be sneaky and be like the assassin, or you can be the overpowered wizard that stops everyone with Ice Barrage, or you can be the ranger, or you can be the big noob that controls the catapult and tries to wreck people that are running with the flag down the middle of the battleground. But what I liked doing most was watching the kids try to go across the rock pedals that were going across the water, and you just, like, they can't do anything to attack you, so it was free pick, so it was like, makes you feel like the man, but you're really a pussy. But other than that, I don't know. That was by far my favorite. Then I liked PvPing, and then kind of one and up Riley. Riley was my big rival. Riley Schwieger was my big rival in that game. But then again, he's the one that also made all my accounts pretty much disappear somehow.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that you don't really see happen. That was back in the day before two-step authentication existed, and they didn't even need an email address to confirm the account, or no security questions. That's one nice thing that has evolved since then. Versus if you knew the person's username, if you had them as a friend, all you needed was their password.
Did they even have recovery questions back then?
No, I think all you could do was
right away.
You could submit a ticket to Jagex, and they would ask you random stuff about your account, like what was like the first item you traded, or stuff like that, or what date did you make your account on. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking remember that.
For that, yeah. Like August, I think. I don't know. So that's the other. My same friend Ethan who couldn't do Demon Slayer, was also the same friend who kept his bronze sword and wooden shield from Tutorial Island because they were memories for him, so he could look at that and remember Tutorial Island. Like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Get them out of your bag. Drop them on the ground because they're not worth walking to the general store.
I can just picture it. I can just picture it now. Ethan, why do you still have that from Tutorial Island? You know, Tad, it all started, I was just a simple kid. I'd never seen this game. It's free to play. All the kids are playing. I was like, hey, this might be pretty cool. I log in. I select what my character wants to look like. I'm enjoying this experience. I go through. I walk out the door. This lady, she shows me how to chop down trees. I start a fire. I catch some fish. You know, I move on. I move through all the stages. I get to the combat area. I mine some rock. I make a dagger. I go to the combat guy. He makes fun of my dagger, calls it a butter knife, gives me the sword and shield. I go and I kick the shit. I destroy some motherfucking rats. You know I maxed out attack and strength and defense on this Tutorial Island rats. Like, those things got fucked up. I moved on with my life. That sword and shield, I bonded with it. It was a great experience for me. I come out of the Tutorial Island. I come into Lumbridge. You know, I may earn more stats that allow me to wield better weapons. And for me, I just can't part with the sword and shield. It started it all for me. And honestly, I don't want to part with it. It's just really nostalgia's sake. Tad comes in. That's the stupidest thing I have ever fucking heard. Honestly,
Get out of here.
I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
Is there one specific moment in the game throughout your entire time playing it that you visualize better than any other moment?
oh,
Like something
Like-
that just sticks out.
getting
I
getting
have one that makes every time someone says RuneScape, it's the first thing I think of. But there's, okay, so we're just gonna go for it. We're having a good time, dude. It's about to get real Wayne, real zany, and it's real short. Me and my friend Nick are walking, to Barbarian Village, and we're going past Draenor Manor because we're going to Fowler or whatever, Barak, whatever town. And we're walking past Draenor Manor, and there's two people just standing there. And, like, this was before we even installed, like, Skype or anything. So I'm literally, like, I have my home phone, and he's on his home phone, and we're just holding it to each other's ears, talking to each other. Throwback. Dude, anywho, so we're walking, we're just kind of casually talking. We're, like, in 5th grade or something, talking about school or something. We walk past these two people, and the one guy, as we walk past, the one guy types in, I called her a black N-word bitch. And I just lost it. And like, it's like, we just snapped, and we're just speechless. And then finally Nick breaks the silence of, wow, that just happened. It was so perfect. And that, like, RuneScape peaked at that moment, and, like, my entire life was just trying to recreate that.
That's where it all started, man.
The first time I was ever exposed to people actively buying and selling women was RuneScape.
Wow.
Then that really shaped Bailey. We see he went to Winona where that's an active practice, and you know.
Well, no, not just that, but girls selling themselves too on RuneScape. Well, and the best part about RuneScape is that
Yeah.
it's not always just girls selling themselves on RuneScape. It's sometimes dudes pretending to be girls selling themselves on Facebook or on
Gotta
RuneScape.
watch out for them.
That's even
Call
better,
those
man.
traps, Bailey.
And I said sometimes, but what I really meant was always.
Because this is RuneScape.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's one thing I'm proud of my 12-year-old self. I never sought out a RuneScape girlfriend.
I never. Friend.
I went to college with a friend who actually like got catfished, and he went down to meet the person, and it ended up being this old dude, and he like got in his car and like ran away. But that's just
Yeah.
like that's the RuneScape is honestly like the beginning of some of that shit. Where I mean, it really shaped the internet culture as a whole. Like
It was a doorway into this new world where the person you were talking to
could be
could
fucking
be
anyone.
whatever they wanted to be.
The funny, I was so into the role playing, I just assumed that's what everyone was doing. 'Cause, like, I suppose I never like got catfished, but like I just assumed these were just like some people's weird fantasies, and I was just like, ignore them, right? I'm Faramir 304, hero of the realm. I don't have time to deal with these, peons.
You still do that, right? Though?
What?
You're
I still do
doing
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. I guess I log
Nah,
on to
I'm
old school
kidding.
RuneScape. It's just like it's all bots now, but what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
There's a good question. How long until there's bots for the mobile RuneScape app?
Well, it's gonna be right off the rip.
They're probably made right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Just
waiting for
drain
the
your
launch.
battery.
Well, I went in the Reddit thread to see what the people were saying about it, and one of the top comments was, "This is stupid. You can already team viewer into your computer and play it from your phone anyways." Like that just speaks to the kind of community that's still playing this game. Like, you've got the guys that are playing from nostalgia, and you've got, like, the elitists who think every new improvement is fucking stupid.
There are, shoot, I wish my brother Matt was here now, because they're, like, he's deep into the elitist community, and there are people that go ham, and, like, it's so weird. God, what's the parts of the Z? Like,
The
that they
Samurai?
nerfed? No, it's like the final boss, the snake lady. God darn it, I can't think of it. I'm gonna Google it.
You're gonna have to
Anywho,
ask somebody. Carter, Sean?
What was that?
The final
question?
The final boss, Snake Lady?
Pause.
Final boss.
Final boss of what?
RuneScape, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know for sure either.
I mean, I don't know.
Are you, oh, Tad, are you talking about... Are you talking about, like,
you cut out for me there.
I'm trying to think. Zezima, maybe? Like, is that...
Desima,
No.
I think that's it.
That's not the
It
final
started with
boss.
a
That
Z.
was...
Player.
Yeah, that was just the highest experienced player in the game.
No, not Zizma. Not Zizma.
Zizma. Oh my, you did not.
Was that it? What was it?
Zizma. It's Zezima, dude.
Zezima?
Is it Zezima?
I always said Zazima, but I
Dude,
mean, I figured
Nobody
it out.
knows. Nobody knows how it's really pronounced, but it's definitely Zezima because that's the way I pronounce it.
He was on their 15-year well, not reunion thing, but their video they made.
Really? Is the
They
dude
blo-
still
he-
playing?
They blocked out his face. Yeah, he does. They blocked out his face, but he was in there talking.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Go,
I
like
can't-
there's clips of him going on there and just hordes of people like filling the server. Because you can add him and then see what world he's on, whatever.
Dude's a legend, man.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's in that special ring circle of gamers where it's like Leroy Jenkins,
I was just
Zergriz,
gonna say that.
Zergriz, and like Zezima. Those are like staples. Like you've got
That's the thing though. Grizz isn't even that popular anymore. Like most people don't even know who he is. That's the funniest thing.
what most people don't know that Leroy Jenkins was a World of Warcraft player. They just know he screamed Leroy Jenkins.
But I'm saying
That
people
was
have,
all over the news, though. Like, I don't
Yeah, it was.
like up like people like news anchors and stuff making Leroy Jenkins reference, but I don't think anyone ever makes Zergriz reference.
and like most of the young kids on that game or just on COD in general don't even know who it is.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I suppose Blizzard really did like grab Leroy or milk Leroy Jenkins for all it's worth. I mean, he's a Hearthstone card. He's in the World of Warcraft game. You can get him as a follower. He has his own quest line. He's an NPC now in the game, and
Is he actually?
I mean, understandably why. Yeah, he is. It's hilarious. I think it's funny, but
Where's the?
Yeah, no, that's just
I like-
that's just capitalizing on. That's awesome.
I guess
That's
I
so
just
cool.
remember like hopping in my clan or my guild one day, and somebody saying, "Yo, like, have you guys seen this Leroy Jenkins video yet?" And saying, "No, what is Leroy Jenkins?" And they're like, he wipes on this raid. Check it out, it's hilarious. And like just searching on YouTube, and it was just the funniest thing ever. Zulrah, that was the final RuneScape boss. Zulrah.
Zalra.
Okay,
That was
sorry.
out of nowhere.
Zulrah.
Zalra.
I had to text Matt. I texted Matt. Oh, it's not the last buy. It was basically the one to make them. Okay, so it was the one you could make the most money off of, and you can make like roughly 6 mil an hour or whatever. And they nerfed it, so you can only make about 3 mil off an hour.
Oh yeah, this is.
But that's like
this
in
is
line
the
with
Slayer.
everything else.
This is a Slayer stat you're talking
Yes.
about, right, Carter?
Slayer.
And people
Like
got
Slayer was back
pissed
then.
that they nerfed Zulrah because they're like, you can't touch our game without our permission.
Yeah.
I don't think Slayer was back then.
Was it? I don't know.
No, it was just like defeating that one. Are you talking about that huge ass spider? That like everyone wanted. Like it took like a full on clan just to try to destroy, and then like she dropped. I don't even remember what it was. She dropped some rare ass items.
S items.
I don't know. I've never faced it, so I really can't speak on it. But
Yeah, I mostly just cut
I-
trees and did mining for RuneScape.
I never
I really
faced
never went
Zulrah
super
either,
ham.
but I remember people talking about it.
I don't know. It's just interesting. The mobile game is set to release in winter 2017. They are looking to start beta testing coming up in the fall here. So, and I'm sure somebody in our friend group will try it out, and maybe we'll give you an update, let you know how it's going. But look out for that. As I think that pretty much does it for covering our main topics. I think now we kind of want to switch gears and talk about podcasts to come, because contrary to our upload schedule, we don't intend on dying. We just intend on uploading whenever we feel like it, And hopefully we start feeling like it more in the future. I know we've talked about, really we haven't talked about it in the cast per se, but amongst ourselves, League of Trivia has definitely been something that we talked about doing forever amongst ourselves, and I think we've finally gotten to the point where we're ready to do that, and I think the best format to do that would be in a live version streamed on Twitch. So we will be announcing the date for an official live stream of our podcast, and we will make sure to get that information out. We're not always good about staying organized, but when we do eventually live stream this podcast, that's something that we're going to get out there. So look forward to that. I know Tad's really been ready to do League of Trivia since like the second episode.
Yep. And I'm actually looking forward to doing anything live as soon as possible. That sounds like a blast.
Alright, so right after this one then?
Yeah, so right after we get done recording this, even though it's not uploaded to YouTube and nobody knows that it's happening, we're going to be going live, so look forward to that. But in actuality, we'll probably put out maybe one more episode before we try to go live, and on that episode we will have definitive dates, and hopefully we'll have a better social media presence so you guys can know where to get updated on that. But we're working at it.
Podcast.
The what?
Quadcast.
The
They cut out.
Oh,
Quadcast. There you go.
there we go. Yeah, the Quadcast live coming soon.
No, Squadcast.
Squad. You're cutting out, goddamn internet.
I know.
But that's another thing that is coming up. Squad. I know we talked about it in the last podcast. We put out a video for it, but we talked about it briefly in this game. But it's about to drop its biggest update year to date, that being V10. And once they have released official patch notes on what that's going to detail, I think we definitely want to cover that game. Because ever since Free Weekend, I'd say the amount of friends we have that play the game doubled. And it's just been one of those games that's really improved. I don't know who we'll have on. It'll definitely be me, Sean, and Tad. But from there, we'll have to see who we can get available to record a squad episode, but that's something that we can really go into depth later, so look forward to that.
We'll have to get Hyper Evo.
Yeah, get Hyper. I think Squad Ops actually does their own podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, they do like a recap or something, like monthly one, or is it weekly?
I think it's monthly, but that might just... maybe it's weekly in the same way ours is weekly, where we say it's weekly, and then it's like every 3 months we upload.
Because that last one, they just talked with the developer about the future intentions of the game, which I didn't listen to it fully, but I do recall that.
So look forward to that. I know Tad had recently he went to Summer Games Done Quick. Was it last weekend? I don't even remember. But Tad went to that, so look forward to a video on that experience from Tad. I know he's got some things he wants to do with that. But other than that, we're going to be looking to expand on more squad content and making stuff that is just straight videos rather than the podcast format, to give you guys something that's maybe a little more watchable than the 1 hour chunk of a bunch of dudes talking.
Do you want to say that one more time, Scott? You cut out, and I don't think they got along with that.
I cut out?
Yep.
Okay.
Just give that one more time.
And
There
we're
it is.
back, branching off into a different topic. Well, Tad has had to step away, but that's okay because we're going to be talking about a show that he has not caught up with. So if he comes back in the middle and gets spoilers, that's not our fault. Game of Thrones recently aired. It's long awaited. Season 7 premiere. I've been waiting it for fucking ever. It's been, what, a year and a
Very
half?
long time.
A year and a half since
A year and a half.
the last
Yep.
last season, and I've
The
recently
last.
I've recently been reading the books to kind of bridge the gap, but let's just get right into it since we're getting over the hour mark here. What were your guys' initial reactions from the episode as a whole?
They kicked it off way faster than I thought they were going to. I really didn't see Daenerys coming into the season that early, or Daenerys coming to Westeros that early in the season. That is so cool. That makes me so hyped for it because I thought it might get milked a little bit, and they might get like Daenerys over there halfway through the season or whatever. And it's just we've been waiting for this since the fucking show started. That's huge. It's insane.
I'm
So-
surprised that they never showed that the one
paralyzed kid. I can't remember his exact name.
Bran?
Bran?
Bran was in the episode very, very sparsely.
I know,
He
but
was
I'm
there
surprised they
for a
didn't
brief
show, like,
minute.
Him meeting his siblings, like
Yep.
I was
Well,
waiting for that moment where, like,
I don't
what the
think
fuck is
Jon
going
Snow
on?
is at Winterfell with Sansa right now, so Bran just got to the wall.
Watching the best
I
part.
thought
He
they were
didn't-
on
he-
the wall.
the wall.
Did you die yet?
Well, are they at the wall though?
I thought they were.
I thought they were at the wall.
I thought they were all
I
at
thought
the
they were all
wall.
Yeah, I
at the wall.
thought they
They were
were too.
just
They were just
pulling
pulling
in.
in.
I'm pretty sure Jon's at Winterfell.
No, John
because
is
of that
John is
battle.
at Winterfell.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And Carter, when you say all his siblings, you mean the two left?
No, there's three.
Oh, there's three.
Technically, there's three, but
Nobody-
nobody even really knows what Arya's doing.
Yeah, she's just doing her own thing.
Being badass.
We do know what
people.
Arya's doing now. Yeah, we do know what Arya's on her way to do right now.
Kill the queen.
How about that?
Kill the
How about
queen.
that dope? Yep. How about that dope Ed Sheeran cameo?
Dude, see, a lot of people are pissed about that. Like,
Really?
yeah, people are like, they feel like he was out of place, and they just put him in there to put a celebrity in. I don't know. I spent almost the entire scene just trying to figure out how the fuck do I know this guy, and then my roommate,
That's what I was doing too.
my roommate next to me is like, "Oh, hey Ed," and I was like, "Oh, it's fucking Ed Sheeran." And then for the rest of the scene,
Ed Sheeran.
the entire Shireen, I think, is the name of the character in the show. Wasn't it like Stannis' daughter or something?
Oh,
Anyway-
really?
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, as far as that goes, I feel like as soon as I realized it was Ed Sheeran, he did kind of feel out of place. Like, they've had other cameos. I know Coldplay had been on the show before, but they had done a lot of makeup work and changed their hair around so it doesn't look like Coldplay, you know?
Well, I have no real problem with Ed Sheeran because he's got the actual voice, the singing voice that, soldiers and they would sing. That's what they did around the camp. You know what I mean? So one, that's not out of place. That's pretty natural. Two, when his talking voice is pretty naturally what they're speaking already. So
No. So
I'm losing you, Bailey.
my favorite one.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to play a song that you probably have heard, but I just
Basically, I didn't feel like Ed Sheeran was that out of place.
logic.
I really thought that the singing worked well, and I thought that his accent worked pretty well as well.
So
I
you
mean, if that's the only duration we see of him, I feel like that's kind of not a big deal.
Hmm
But
He really
it's
didn't
very
do anything
possible
to
there's more
affect the show majorly, and yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not
yet.
gonna say anything.
see, I almost want to see him. Like the role he served almost feels like he's gonna come back again. Like those soldiers, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It seems like because I had listened to another show that was theorizing that dude with the longish black hair that almost looks like Benjamin Stark was talking about his wife and kids. His wife just had a kid back home, and people were theorizing that he's a Frey, and he's gonna find out that Arya murdered his entire family. Of course, he won't know it's Arya, and so she's gonna deal with that moral conflict of, holy shit, I just killed this guy who's been my traveling friend's entire family. And I thought it'll be interesting to see how she handles that. Or maybe they're never gonna show these Lannister soldiers again, and that'll be the end of it. I know it's hard to say.
Personally, my guess would be that they're just going to be for that scene, and that scene was really all just set up so that Arya could say, I'm going to murder the queen, and kind of show how she's so disconnected now.
Yeah.
Here's what I didn't get, though. They sure did frame the swords a lot of all those guys to not expand further on that. I get it's basically emphasizing the anxiety from her. But, I mean, they did a lot of that. Like, they were showing swords left and right off the start. But figured they'd go more into detail about it. Or not. Well, yeah, expand on that storyline.
I'm a little surprised they didn't kill any major characters episode 1, too. I know a lot of people are cheering for Littlefinger to die, but personally... Okay, so I can't say that he's a good guy, like, he's clearly a piece of shit. But, like, his character is definitely interesting to watch, and I think he makes the show a lot more interesting just because he's crafty, and you can hate on a guy for being a scummy person, but you can't hate on the guy for making stupid decisions because, like, everything he's done has been smart, and I feel like this show is good at punishing people. Like, if you do something stupid, you're gonna get killed off for it, and Littlefinger really hasn't made any stupid mistakes thus far, and
The kid went to the ER today.
it's kind of the same thing in Breaking Bad, where you can hate Walter White for being a scumbag, but at the same time you admire him because of all the stuff he's pulled off in the show. I mean, not to that effect, because Littlefinger is a minor character, obviously, but I don't know.
Did you just call Littlefinger a minor character?
I mean, he doesn't have his.
I don't know if I call him a minor character.
He doesn't have his own chapter in the book, so he's a character. He's not a minor character.
He's a major player in the Game of Thrones, for lack of better. Fun.
But I mean, in the book,
Well, Bailey.
in the books, Robb Stark never even had his own chapter.
That was a zing.
No.
So.
That was a zinger, Bailey.
Oh, welcome back, Tad. Welcome back. We transitioned to the Game of Thrones while you were gone.
That's fine.
But
as I said earlier, farmers market stuff, and ironically, I had to go unload corn from the truck. But we do more than just corn.
More than
Called it.
just
Now
corn.
the people know at least.
You know what, Pat? I'm starting to think this shady business of yours is just corn.
Dude, Dad pulled up in his truck with a bunch of corn, and all I did, I just screamed, Like Sean was right on
I have to go tell these guys now.
I screamed.
Oh, dude, just like
Dad,
the phrase.
no,
Just
right
like
in
the
Sean's
phrase.
track.
Just like the phrase, man. Oh.
I've helped you.
The kind
As
of.
said.
To round off the Game of Thrones discussion, I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't think we'll touch on it, but real quick, who is your top death, top death and top confrontation to see throughout the season? Tad?
Well, Tad hasn't actually seen mine.
So Tad, if you want to leave the call again.
I mean, at this point, I've had so much spoiled for me already. That,
Well, you're just gonna know that these people haven't died yet. So this is just.
Are you
For me.
Are you pretty bummed that Ed Sheeran's in there now?
Yeah, honestly, my number one death is Ed Sheeran. And my number one confrontation is Ed Sheeran and his head hitting the
I think
ground.
it's Sheeran, Scott.
You know what? I don't need this. I don't need this.
Bailey, is that right? I guess ask Lush. Lush would know.
Dude, fuck Lush.
Is it Sheeran?
It's Sheeran.
It's Sheeran?
You've been calling him Shireen this whole time, and I haven't hit you. That's how it goes.
Sharima?
Sharima, dude.
Ed Sheeran.
Sharima! Back to League of Legends!
But in actuality, I think I'm most excited to see Tyrion and Jaime meet again, because last time Jaime talked about Tyrion, he talked about how he's gonna fucking... He's like, he's no brother of mine for killing Tywin. So that's, for me, what I'm most anticipating, like, the clash. I don't know, Bailey, if you have a different opinion?
No, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think Jaime's a really interesting character overall because of the complexities he has with Tyrion and being a Lannister and loving Cersei and loving Tyrion, both in their own way. And, you know, one way is like a fuck your sister kind of way, and one is like, you know, that's my bro kind of way.
Yeah, I like that one joke about like
At least I have two hands thing.
That was good.
But mostly, I think that Jaime's going to kind of see that Cersei's kind of just batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to disassociate himself very quickly with her.
Makes
And yeah,
We'll see. Sean, do you have any confrontations that you're looking forward to in the show?
Honestly,
Or reunions?
how far it's spread apart. I tend to lose my memory of all the characters and all the storylines with how long it's taken to watch this. That I'm just kind of along for the ride now. It's good, but I can't really remember everything that's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in terms of meetups or confrontations, no, I don't have a specific one.
Here, I'll fill in, because I have another one. I think Arya and her wolf, because, I mean, there's no way that wolf running off, there's no way they're not bringing that back. Like, I think that's another thing that I can't wait to see.
Okay, scratch that. That is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Like,
that you mention it, that's one I do recall.
even in the books, Arya has the same kind of wolf dreams that Bran had, only she doesn't know that she's actually, like, warging into the wolf. Like, they talk about that a lot in the book.
yeah, you miss a lot of that from show to book. All the Starks are actually wargs in on some level.
Yeah, only Bran knows it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different topic. Maybe if there's a audience for it, we'll talk about anything for viewers. You know, that's what we do. We sell. We're definitely not sellouts as episode 3, but at the same time, we're very flexible as to what we cover based on whatever our audience wants to see. So if you want to hear Game of Thrones, we'll talk about it. If you want us to talk about Squad, we'll cover that. If you want to talk about Hearthstone, go fuck yourself.
Hey,
Or heroes,
press
right?
to pay respect to all my Hearthstone viewers out there.
Oh, but I think that's a good place to end on. So, like I said, look out for the live edition. We will be announcing that in our next episode. Look out for League of Trivia coming with that. The live edition will hopefully be League of Trivia, and we will announce that date probably on our next cast, and we will have more social media platforms advertise on. Look out for Tad covering a Summer Games Done Quick, his adventures there. I know he's working on a separate
Are
project.
you covering the Summer X Games?
All the irons are in the fire. Summer what? I didn't hear that.
I was at the X Games last weekend. I don't know if that really pertains to our audience so much, but you know what? Hell, if people want to hear about it, we'll go over it in a future episode too.
Press F if you press F if you
God
need
damn
to
it,
see
Lex, let me
Hearthstone
finish.
games.
I mean, it's a different type of summer games.
It really is. But this is
officially the longest cast.
Ask me how it is being broke. I can tell you all about
Bailey.
it.
How is it being broke?
I can't buy things.
All right, Tad, what's your send off?
You know, I don't remember what episode it was, but I missed one. Thanks for tuning in, loyal listeners. It's good to be back doing this, and look forward to I don't know what I'm gonna call you, a Tad Talks, a Tad Time, something like that in the future, coming to a store near you. It's gonna be good.
What store?
Grab yourself some Tad corn.
Get yourself some Tad corn. We do more than that. Discord though.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Dude, I
any
got
vegetable
your
issues?
name. We can call the series "Too Much Tad?" ?
Too much Tad. I'm in. Look out for Too Much Tad.
Coming soon to a YouTube channel with
I like
43
it.
subscribers near you. Sean, anything you want to say to the people before you go?
It's been real. It's been fun. And it's been really fun.
Oh!
Oh!
Wow!
Ouch.
Wow!
Wow!
What an
Our
honor.
second, our
Mine.
first reoccurring guest, and he's gonna drop one of those on us. Get him
Dude.
out of here.
He's going.
That was a compliment.
I was gonna say he's going for the 3-peat, but Tad wants him gone. I don't know. Mixed signals.
You don't compliment our show.
I'm done. So I mean, does my opinion even matter?
That's true. I'm
You
done
don't
too.
compliment our show and get away
And-
with it.
Oh wait,
It-
this is.
Yeah.
Wait, does that mean it's my podcast now?
No. We established it's Carter's podcast.
Welcome
so-
to the Bailey's Attack
Oh, no, wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I wasn't in on this.
No,
The
we
transfer
agreed that
power.
Carter was the
Part of
host.
the
So,
deal.
Carter, as host of the podcast, do you have any closing comments?
Yeah. Wait, do I
Wait, do I pull the comments?
Yeah, closing
Yeah.
comments.
Yes.
It's your podcast now.
What's with that outro?
My
is the
closing
outro.
is that toxic communities are the best communities.
Toxic communities are the best communities. You hear it here, folks.
Truly
Can we
reformed
get
player.
Get that on a shirt.
Toxic communities
Yeah.
are the best communities.
Just put a
I'm
Quad
gonna
Minute
be-
logo on it and it'll just sell out.
Toxic is best. Yeah.
Dude, they had a big board at X Games where you could just write anything, and I thought about putting up the YouTube link, but
I thought this was an outro.
it is an outro.
So,
Okay.
This has been the
Cool,
Quad
side.
Mid Podcast, and don't forget to kill yourself.
I love that that's our sign off.
cue the music.